Good day, you are welcome to our new edition in Biochem Science Hub. Today we'll be looking at biology topics. So if you are writing this year JAM and WAEC, this one is for you. There's no how we want to do without genetics in your question. So let's dive into it. We look at genetics and also we look at all these listed terms that are used in genetics and their meaning. So starting from genetics, genetics simply means the study of hereditary and variation. So what is hereditary? Hereditary are the character that are passed down from the parents down to their offsprings. And we have variation. While variation are those character that are passed down into our offspring, but they are not observable. They can't be seen in an offspring. So that it is varies from the word vary, that it is varies. And this variation has to do with now a man giving birth, a tall parent giving birth to a short individual. So that's variation. Or a light-skinned individual giving birth to a dark-skinned individual. That's variation. So going to gene. Gene is the smallest unit of inheritance, basic unit of hereditary. So that's gene. Going to chromosomes. Chromosomes are thread-like structure. Chromosomes are thread-like structure that is found inside the nucleus of a particular individual. So as we know, that nucleus of a particular cell. So we have traits. Traits are also known as character. Traits are character that are observable, that can be seen, that are passed through from parents to their offspring. Traits. So we have gametes. Gametes refer to the mature cell. Refer to the mature cell that takes place in sexual reproduction, and we have in plant and in animal. Like now we have gametes in plant and animal. In plants, and we have in animal. So in plants now we have ovum, and also we have pollen grain. While in that of animal we have ovule in plant, and we have ovum in animal. We have spermatozoa. So and from that we move to zygote. What is zygote? Zygote is the union of two gamete cell. That is when you have spermatozoa meeting with ovum. So that formation of a new cell developing into into zygote, which will develop into a new mature organism. That's zygote. And we have allelomorph. Allelomorph can be defined as the two pair of genes on presence on the chromosomes. Two pair of genes presence on the chromosomes. That's allelomorph, and it's also known as also known as allele. So after that we have phenotype. What is phenotype? Phenotype are observable character that are passed through from parents down to the offspring. So example of that observable character can include height, like short parents giving birth to a short individual, fair parents giving birth to a fair individual. So those are those are phenotype, observable character that can be seen. So and this include behavioral, physical, and also physiological. So behavior, how person behave, that has to do with phenotype, and how person reacts, physical appearance, how person appear. Those are phenotype, color of the skin, and so on. And we move to genotype. What is genotype? Genotype are total sum of the gene present in parents, which are passed down to their offsprings. So or total number of genes inheritable from the parents by the offspring. That's genotypes. So from genotype we move to dominant gene or dominant trait. Let's divide dominant trait before gene. So dominant traits, these are traits that has power over other traits that are in pairs, and these traits are as a result of two contrasting character. And dominant traits, they have dominance, that is, they are dominant over other traits known as recessive. So they are observable. So when dominant trait occur, is because it has power over that. It's just like when we say black color has dominance over white color in paint. So that's dominant trait. And recessive trait, this has to do with when one of the parents carry what? Recessive trait, which can be expressed, which can be, it can be expressed in an offspring because of the presence of the what? Because of the presence of the dominant trait over it. And this dominant trait is being controlled by what? Is controlled by dominant gene. Dominant gene is one responsible for the dominant trait, while recessive gene are the one responsible for what? Recessive traits. So like now dominant traits, they are represented by capital letter. So that's dominant. So or something like this. While recessive, T, small letter T, A. So these are recessive, while this dominant. So moving to homozygous. So an individual is said to be what? Homozygous if it possesses two different genes of the same kind on the chromosomes. So like now homozygous can be seen like AA. This is same thing. Likewise AA. If you see these two, they are similar. Likewise these two are similar. Likewise this. So they are similar. So when an individual possesses this, we said that individual is homozygous. Going to heterozygous, an individual is said to be heterozygous if he possesses what? Different traits for the same character. Different traits for the same character. So example of that one can be found in TT. So this is heterozygous, and we can have capital letter A and small letter a. So this is heterozygous too, and we can have in so many examples, you can use your B and B. So that's what? That's heterozygous. That's heterozygous. Filial generation, that has to do with the what? Union of parents to produce an offspring. So like in generation. So like now we have F1, which simply means first filial generation between parents to produce offspring, and we have F2, F3. So that's the meaning of filial generation. They might ask you find the F2 of this crossing between this and this. That is, they expected you to find the what? Second filial generation of that particular crossing. So monohybridization. What is monohybridization? Monohybridization, this is a crossing between parents of the same breed, or let's say pure breed. So of the same breed, that's monohybridization. While dihybridization, this is crossing between parents of contrasting character of different character entirely. That's dihybridization. And we have locus. Locus is the site for location of the what? Gene on the chromosomes. So locus is found around here. So that's site of the location of the gene on the chromosome. That's locus. And we have haploid. So when we start haploid is when an organism have one set of chromosome. When an organism have one set of chromosome, is known as what? Is known as haploid. While diploid is when an organism possesses two sets of what? Two sets of chromosomes. So one set of chromosome is haploid, and we have in diploid, that one is two sets of chromosomes. And coming to the end of it, which is what? Mutation. Mutation simply means what? Changes in genetic makeup of a particular parent which produces an offspring, and this has to do with the what? It has to do with the parent. So that's mutation. That's mutation. So coming to the end of it, if there's anyone that you don't understand, you can simply ask us on our, we break it down for you. Thank you for following us. Thank you for following.